One of the hardest things is just getting started. I liken it to starting a car on a cold winter's day. If you've not driven the car for a while and you try turning the key, the engine might be making a few noises, but it's struggling, the engine's really cold, and you haven't driven it for a while. You keep turning the key, and it feels like the car's not going to start. So a lot of people don't bother, they just give up, leave the car where it is. But eventually, if you turn the key, boom, the car's running. When you get the car running, the engine heats up, and it's a smooth drive from there. The car works fine. And this is what it's like trying to build momentum. It's in all areas of life. The most common one for a lot of people is procrastination. We think, oh, I need to start studying, or I need to get this paper done, or I need to start this project for work. And the idea of starting, there's so much friction to it. It's such a cold engine to try and get it going. You feel like it just won't work out, and you feel like it's 10 times worse than it actually is. But you've probably had this experience where if you just started, maybe you said, oh, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes. It's actually smooth sailing. You've got the engine running. It's getting warmer. Now it's as if there was no problem at all. And I've been doing this personally with trying to be more social. Now, today I went out into the city to talk to some people. I will say my main objective was to talk to girls. Mission unsuccessful, I'm afraid. I'm not going to say there was no girls to talk to. I guess, I was looking around at the girls. No one was really sticking out for me. No one was really catching my eye. There was a couple of people that I thought maybe I should compliment or at least, but I just didn't. I did meet some interesting people on the tram to the city. I talked with a guy who was sat across from me, and I just said, hello, how's your day going? Said he was heading to work to do some, what was it now? Construction thing. He makes sketches for different surveying things, something like that. We had a great conversation, and I wished him well. Then I waltzed around the city centre for a bit. I spoke to some people, asked them where a nice spot was, this particular park I was going to. I got stopped by a German monk, which was very interesting, who got me to. Well, I didn't buy the book. He gave me the book, and he's like, "Oh yes, people often give a donation. We're collecting for charity." I got to practice a bit of my German, which was interesting. He was impressed. I did bin the book. He was. It was all sort of Hinduism kind of stuff, which I have nothing against, but I just was not. I was thinking I'm not gonna read this book. I probably should have left it somewhere, but I just chucked it in the bin because that's what I did. And I was able to just start conversations with people on public transport. On the way back, I was talking to another guy. It was interesting. This middle-aged man who had said he'd just come from the exam, doing. Oh, let me think now. He was doing not landscape engineering. Some kind of engineering, landscape design, maybe. I don't know. And I had a good conversation with him, and there were some pauses, but I was comfortable with that. He wasn't asking me too many questions. I was asking him a bunch of questions. It was kind of like a one-sided combo, but I don't think I'd been able to do that had I not been in a social flow state. I started my flow state in the gym, and this morning I just was wanting to talk to people, but was struggling because I woke up at 3:30 a.m. this morning to go to work because I start at 5. I'm a bit sleep deprived. I can't think of things to say to people. I don't want to hold eye contact. And then when I finished my shift at 9 a.m., I went to the gym, or I stayed there because I work in the gym. I did a session and spoke to some guys. Said hello to a random stranger in the Locker room, asked how he was, that sort of thing, and just got the ball rolling. I got the engine running. Purely because I asked to work in with people. I asked how people's days were going. That meant I was able to ask people for directions in the street easy enough. That's how I was able to start conversations with people on the tram. Had I not gotten into that flow state, I would have kept to myself, avoided eye contact with people, just stared out the window. And I wouldn't have felt as good as I do now. Now, like I said, I didn't talk to any girls, so mission kind of failed there, but there was still some positive. I still socially leveled up. I still spoke to people that I wouldn't have spoken to otherwise, and I spoke to more people than I did yesterday. And that's the beauty of it. When you get that momentum going, you become unstoppable. Like, I was able to just not hesitate when a guy sat down in front of me on the tram. I was able to just start that conversation, ask him how he was, what he's up to, how's his day going, what are his plans for this evening. And that would have been unfathomable. I can't say that word. Unfathomable. Got it right. A couple of years, or even a couple of months ago. Because, you're taught, stranger danger as a kid. Obviously, it's important for kids to know that, but it seeps in to adult life. And although we're more connected than ever, we couldn't be further apart. We found a socially acceptable way to ignore people by going on our phone. And although we might want to say something, we are afraid of how people will react. We're afraid that we're going to mess it up, that we'll be too nervous, and that we just don't want to break that ice. It's much more comfortable and a lot more safe keeping to ourselves. Which is sad because you could potentially brighten someone's day. It's certainly brightened my day by having a conversation with those guys. I said it was nice talking to them. And I'm never going to see those guys again. And that's kind of the beauty of it, Just starting conversations, little nothing conversations that lead nowhere. That you're never going to see these people again. But yet you can be a nice anecdote in their day. That person can go home. And that's what I strive to be. I strive to be a nice little note at the end of someone's day. Now, let's say an old man goes home to his wife and she says, "Oh, how was your day?" And he mentions me. He said, "Oh, there was this young lad speaking to me on the tram, he seemed like a nice fella." And that's it. I'm never going to hear him say that. Obviously, I'm never going to see him again, but just being that small little positive light in someone's day makes it all worthwhile. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the momentum I got. And this applies to, like I said, to studying, being social, whatever it is. You just need to have a little spark of madness, a little glitch in the system. And that can lead to wonderful things. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, as Bruce Springsteen said. So listen to Bruce. Get that spark going. Get the engine running. Get the ball rolling. And get the momentum going. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. All that. I'll see you in the next one. God bless. And as always, you take very good care of yourself.